Hi, it's Wednesday, October the 14th. We're less than 3 weeks away from our most important election of our lifetimes on November 3rd. I'm surprised that King County has not sent out the ballot yet. I'm understanding it probably was sent out yesterday, I believe. So hopefully we'll be getting our ballots in the mail today or tomorrow. So look out for your ballots. Let's get started. Okay, we're looking at the forecast. The forecast changed. Yesterday I thought it was supposed to be sunny for the next week, but it's changed. Our weather forecast changes. Yesterday, it was supposed to be sunny from today through next Thursday, but obviously that's changed. At least we have 2 days. So today and tomorrow is going to be sunny, 59, 60, and then we're going to get some rain. Not a lot of rain, but some rain on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Of course, the weekend. And then it'll be off and on next week. So my forecast of yesterday changed. Oh, well, that's Seattle for you, and it is the fall. Now, this is a little bit long, but I think it's very important. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island did this very detailed speech, and he didn't really question the Supreme Court nominee, Judge Barrett. He made a big, with a lot of facts in terms of how much dark money was spent behind the scenes in order to get certain judges, certain conservative judges, nominated to the federal bench at the appeals level, and also obviously the Supreme Court level. This is worth it's a little long, but I'm not showing his entire one. This is the highlights. So here's Sheldon Whitehouse talking about dark money influencing judges nomination process.
This is to me, pretty big deal. I've never seen this around any court that I've ever been involved with, where there's this much dark money and this much influence being used. Here's how the Washington Post summed it up. This is a conservative activist behind-the-scenes campaign to remake the nation's courts, and it's a $250 million dark money operation. $250 million is a lot of money to spend if you're not getting anything for it. So that raises the question, what are they getting for it? Well, I showed the slide earlier on the Affordable Care Act and on Obergefell and on Roe versus Wade. That's where they lost. But with another judge, that could change. That's where the contest is. That's where the Republican Party platform tells us to look at how they want judges to rule, to reverse Roe, to reverse the Obamacare cases, and to reverse Obergefell and take away gay marriage. That is their stated objective and plan. Why not take them at their word? But there's another piece of it, and that is not what's ahead of us, but what's behind us. What's behind us is now 80 cases, Mr. Chairman, 80 cases under Chief Justice Roberts that have these characteristics. One, they were decided 5-4 by a bare majority. Two, the 5-4 majority was partisan in the sense that not one Democratic appointee joined the five. I refer to that group as the Roberts Five. It changes a little bit, as with Justice Scalia's death, for instance, but there's been a steady Roberts Five that has delivered now 80 of these decisions. And the last characteristic of them is that there is an identifiable Republican donor interest in those cases. And in every single case, that donor interest won. It was an 80-0, 5-4 partisan rout, ransacking. And it's important to look at where those cases went, because they're not about big public issues like getting rid of the Affordable Care Act, undoing Roe versus Wade, and undoing same-sex marriage. They're about power. And if you look at those 80 decisions, they fall into 4 categories over and over and over again. One, unlimited and dark money in politics. Citizens United is the famous one, but it's continued since with McCutcheon, and we've got one coming up now. Always the 5 for unlimited money in politics, never protecting against dark money in politics, despite the fact that they said it was going to be transparent. And who wins when you allow unlimited dark money in politics? A very small group. The ones who have unlimited money to spend and a motive to spend it in politics. They win, everybody else loses. And if you're looking at who might be behind this, let's talk about people with unlimited money to spend and a motive to do it. We'll see how that goes. Next, knock the civil jury down. Whittle it down to a nub. The civil jury was in the Constitution, in the Bill of Rights, in our darn Declaration of Independence. But it's annoying to big corporate powers because you can swagger your way as a big corporate power through Congress. You can go and tell the president you put money into to elect what to do. He'll put your stooges at the EPA. It's all great until you get to the civil jury, because they have an obligation, as you know, Judge Barrett, they have an obligation under the law to be fair to both parties, irrespective of their size. You can't bribe them. You're not allowed to. It's a crime to tamper with a jury. It's standard practice to tamper with Congress. And they make decisions based on the law. If you're used to being the boss and swaggering your way around the political side, you don't want to be answerable before a jury. And so one after another, these 85-4 decisions have knocked down, whittled away at the civil jury, a great American institution. Third, first was unlimited dark money. Second was demean and diminish the civil jury. Third is weaken regulatory agencies. A lot of this money, I'm convinced, is polluter money. The Coke Industries is a polluter. The fossil fuel industry is a polluter. Who else would be putting buckets of money into this and wanting to hide who they are behind donors' trust or other schemes? And what if you're a big polluter, what do you want? You want weak regulatory agencies. You want ones that you can box up and run over to Congress and get your friends to fix things for you in Congress. Over and over and over again, these decisions are targeted at regulatory agencies to weaken their independence and weaken their strength. And if you're a big polluter, a weak regulatory agency is your idea of a good day. And the last thing is in politics, in voting. Why on earth the court made the decision a factual decision, not something appellate courts are ordinarily supposed to make, as I understand it, Judge Barrett, the factual decision that nobody needed to worry about minority voters in pre-clearance states being discriminated against or that legislators would try to knock back their ability to vote. These five made that finding in Shelby County against bipartisan legislation from both houses of Congress, hugely passed on no factual record. They just decided that that was a problem that was over. On no record, with no basis, because it got them to the result that we then saw. What followed? State after state after state passed voter suppression laws. One so badly targeting African Americans that the two courts said it was surgically tailored to get after minority voters. And gerrymandering, the other great control. Bulk gerrymandering, where you go into a state, like the Red Map Project did in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and you pack Democrats so tightly into a few districts that all the others become Republican majority districts. And in those states, you send a delegation to Congress that has a huge majority of Republican members, like 13-5, as I recall, in a state where the five, the party of the five, actually won the popular vote. You've sent a delegation to Congress that is out of step with the popular vote of that state, and court after court figured out how to solve that, and the Supreme Court said, nope, 5-4 again, nope, we're not going to take an interest in that question. In all these areas where it's about political power for big special interests and people who want to fund campaigns and people who want to get their way through politics without actually showing up, doing it behind donors' trust and other groups, doing it through these schemes, over and over and over again, you see the same thing. 80 decisions, Judge Barrett. 80 decisions, an 80-0 sweep. I don't think you've tried cases, but some cases, the issue is bias and discrimination. And if you're making a bias case, as a trial lawyer, Lindsey Graham is a hell of a good trial lawyer. If he wanted to make a bias case, Dick Durbin's a hell of a good trial lawyer. If they wanted to make a bias case and they could show an 80-0 pattern, A, that's admissible, and B, I'd love to make that argument to the jury. I'd be really hard-pressed to be the lawyer saying, no, 80-0 is just a bunch of flukes. All 5-4, all partisan, all this way. So something is not right around the court. And dark money has a lot to do with it. Special interests have a lot to do with it. Donors' trust and whoever's hiding behind donors' trust has a lot to do with it. And the Bradley Foundation orchestrating its amici over at the court has a lot to do with it.
If you have time, you should watch the entire 30-minute presentation from Sheldon Whitehouse. He goes through all these. This was after he talked about all these different groups and how much money they were putting into all these judicial nominations and how they basically had influenced court decisions based on who they wanted to be nominated for federal judgeships at various different levels, the appeals level and obviously ultimately the Supreme Court level. Pretty eye-opening and pretty sobering. Highly recommend you go on YouTube and watch Senator Whitehouse's entire presentation that happened yesterday during the Supreme Court confirmation hearings of Judge Barrett. Here's another of my favorite watching Lincoln Project ads. Here's one called Names. Trump doesn't have a plan for coronavirus and we never will. So here's a great Lincoln Project ad called Names.
Grace Mayo, Norman Bernal, Anthony M. Hopkins, William Purcell, Tommy.
In 6 months, COVID-19 has killed more Americans than any disease in 100 years. Donald Trump lied about it, rejected science, and still has no plan to save Americans. Now, Donald Trump has COVID, his White House, his campaign.
Gregory Armstrong.
COVID-19 doesn't care about elections. It spreads, it kills. Over 180,000 Americans over age 60 have died, more each day. But this election is the only way we can protect ourselves.
Nick Cordero.
Donald Trump will never have a plan. Joe Biden does. It's simple. To save Americans, we must change presidents. On November 3rd, vote like your life depends on it.
Dr. Ricardo Castaneda, Ronald Lewis, Daniel and Valerie Zane, Lila A. Fenwick.
The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Oh, that was a great direct ad. Now we want to show you a really cool ad from the Democratic National Committee ad blast. It's going to be on COVID. I mean, the whole election is going to basically on healthcare and COVID. That's going to be, and basically it's a referendum on Donald Trump and how he's failed. Biden's going to win. Biden-Harris is going to win a landslide. That's my prediction. Here is a DNC ad on COVID and how Trump has not dealt with this at all.
He was warned, but ignored the evidence, holding rallies indoors, turning a White House into a super spreader and contracting the virus himself.
Now tested positive.
Now he claims he's learned about COVID.
I get it.
But he hasn't learned a thing, putting us and those sworn to protect him at risk.
Don't be afraid of it.
Meanwhile, America pays the price. 215,000 dead, no plan. And now another wave is coming. Had enough?
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
That was a good ad. Finish off with actually more of a positive ad. Here are 14 USA mayors starring in a new Biden-Harris relief, and they're all African-American mayors, both females and males. So I think you enjoy this ad.
Black women have always been on the front lines for social justice.
It's what we do.
We organize, make phone calls,
And yes,
we run for office.
all while being fly.
We stand up
To systemic racism
fight for health care and justice for all our citizens.
and use our power, our right.
Our responsibility. Black women,
Let's vote.
vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Your turn, fellas.
Okay,
We got this.
Fellas,
Brothers,
we've heard our sisters, our mothers, our wives and daughters cry out for equality. Equality
all across this country. And now it's our turn.
our responsibility to take our power back.
Black women vote more than black men. And it's time we change that.
Don't give your power away.
Every single vote counts in this election. Show up. Show out.
And vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
It was great. Love seeing all the 14 mayors, female African-American mayors and male African mayors across about 14 cities in the U.S. That's great. I thought that was a great commercial. Anyway, hope you had have a great day today. Go out, enjoy the sunshine. 59, 60 degrees today and tomorrow, and then it'll get a little rain after that. So have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.